quiet beach, a baffling trail of evidence, a case that refused to stay buried. For over a decade, investigators have searched for answers along this stretch of Long Island's coastline, a place where shocking discoveries shattered any sense of safety. What seemed like an isolated case soon unraveled into something far more disturbing. Clues emerged, only to lead to more questions. Suspects came and went, but the truth remained just out of reach. Who was behind it? How did they evade justice for so long? And why does this case still haunt investigators to this day? Stay with us as we dig into one of the most chilling mysteries in modern history, because some stories refuse to be forgotten. What really happened along these shores? And could the answers still be out there? A coastline shrouded in mystery, a killer lurking in the dunes. This is Derrick Investigates, and I'm Derrick. Tonight, we uncover a case that has haunted Long Island for over a decade. The story of a predator who turned a peaceful shoreline into a burial ground. For years, the shifting sands have concealed dark secrets. Victims vanished, remains surfaced, and yet the truth remains just beyond reach. Who was the Long Island serial killer? How did he evade justice for so long? And what sinister force drove his reign of terror? If the unknown intrigues you as much as it does me, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Your support helps us shed light on these chilling mysteries and continue the search for answers. Now let's walk the desolate beaches of Gilgo, where the tide brings more than just waves to shore. Long Island's Gilgo Beach, known for its tranquil waters and secluded stretches of sand, was the last place anyone would expect to find evidence of a chilling crime spree. But in December 2010, a police search intended to locate Shannon Gilbert, a 24-year-old woman who had vanished months earlier, took a harrowing turn. While scouring the brush along Ocean Parkway, Suffolk County Police discovered the skeletal remains of a young woman wrapped in burlap. This finding, disturbing as it was, quickly escalated into a case of grim proportions. As officers expanded their search in the surrounding area, 3 more sets of remains surfaced, all within close proximity. The victims, identified as Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, Maureen Brainard Barnes, and Amber Lynn Costello, shared unsettling similarities. All 4 were young women who had gone missing under similar circumstances, having been contacted through online services before their disappearances. This connection added a layer of complexity to the investigation. Each woman had a story, a life filled with dreams, struggles, and the hope for a better future. Melissa Barthelemy, the first to be identified, was reported missing in 2009. The 24-year-old from Erie County, New York, had moved to the Bronx to build an independent life. Her family described her as warm-hearted and determined. But after her disappearance, her younger sister Amanda received chilling phone calls from Melissa's phone, calls in which a mysterious voice taunted her with disturbing details. Investigators later linked these calls to the perpetrator. Megan Waterman, a young mother from Maine, was last seen in June 2010, leaving a Holiday Inn in Hauppauge, New York. She had traveled to Long Island for work, unaware that it would be her final trip. Her loved ones remembered her as a devoted mother, someone striving to overcome difficult circumstances and provide for her daughter. Maureen Brainard Barnes, a mother of 2 from Connecticut, disappeared in 2007. Facing financial struggles, she took short-term jobs in New York City, hoping to support her children and improve her situation. Friends and family described her as kind-hearted and resilient, making her sudden disappearance all the more devastating. Amber Lynn Costello, a 27-year-old from North Babylon, New York, was last seen in September 2010. She left home one evening to meet someone, promising to return, but she never did. Her friends and family recalled her infectious laughter and the way she could brighten any room, a stark contrast to the tragic fate that awaited her. Their similarities, their age, the way they disappeared, and where they were found, suggested that these were not random acts, but the work of someone calculating and deliberate. Investigators knew they were dealing with something far more sinister than isolated tragedies. The discovery of burlap-wrapped remains sent a chilling message to investigators. Burlap, commonly used in farming and landscaping, hinted at a possible connection to someone familiar with outdoor labor, perhaps someone who knew how to move unnoticed through remote terrain. But beyond its practicality, it suggested something more unsettling, a level of precision and planning that pointed to a methodical predator. The victims were found within a short radius of one another, reinforcing the theory that the killer knew this stretch of coastline well. Gilgo Beach, with its dense brush and isolated pathways, provided the perfect cover, far from prying eyes, yet accessible enough for someone who understood the area's hidden corners. This was not random. This was calculated. What strikes me about this case is the controlled nature of the disposal. A killer who dumps bodies in chaos leaves traces, mistakes. But here, the placement, the method, even the location itself, it all suggests someone who wasn't just acting on impulse, but following a process, refining it with each victim. As investigators widened their search, what began as a tragic discovery soon spiraled into something even more disturbing. By April 2011, additional remains surfaced, raising the total number of victims to 10. Among them were individuals with no apparent connection to the original 4 women, including an unidentified toddler and a man referred to as John Doe. Were these the work of the same predator? Or had this desolate stretch of beach become the burial ground for something even more sinister? Shannan Gilbert's story was distinct, yet deeply connected to the larger mystery. On the night of her disappearance, she had been visiting someone in Oak Beach, a gated community near Gilgo Beach. Following an argument, she ran into the night, making a frantic 911 call in which she told the dispatcher, "They're trying to kill me." Her body was eventually discovered in December 2011, in a marshy area not far from where the other victims were found. However, the circumstances of her death did not align with the others. Unlike the carefully concealed remains of the Gilgo 4, investigators initially ruled Shannan's death as accidental, suggesting she may have become disoriented in the marsh. But her family, particularly her mother, Mary Gilbert, refused to accept this explanation. Mary relentlessly pushed for further investigation, ensuring that Shannan's case, and the broader questions surrounding the other victims, remained in the public eye. The discoveries along Ocean Parkway exposed a terrifying reality, a possible serial killer operating undetected for years. The Suffolk County Police Department, in collaboration with the FBI, faced mounting pressure to identify the person responsible. Investigators delved into phone records, online activity, and missing persons reports, searching for patterns that could point to the elusive predator. Yet, with more questions than answers, the case's complexity deepened. Why were the victims chosen? Was there a psychological or logistical reason for the use of burlap? How did the killer manage to evade capture for so long, even as the number of victims grew? What strikes me about this case is the level of control. This isn't someone acting on impulse. This is someone who understands patience, planning, and above all, invisibility. Serial offenders often make mistakes, but here the calculated nature of the crime suggests a predator who knew exactly how to cover their tracks. This was only the beginning of a case that would haunt Long Island for years to come. The Gilgo Beach case was no longer a local mystery. They were a chilling puzzle, capturing national attention and leaving countless lives forever changed. The search for Shannan Gilbert in December 2011 led to an unexpected and chilling discovery. 10 other sets of remains scattered along Ocean Parkway. What began as a single missing person case had now spiraled into one of the most haunting investigations in Long Island's history. The Suffolk County Police Department, overwhelmed by the scale of the case, called in the FBI to help uncover the truth. A disturbing pattern soon emerged among 4 of the victims: Melissa Barthelemy, Maureen Brainard Barnes, Megan Waterman, and Amber Lynn Costello, dubbed the Gilgo 4. Their disappearances were eerily similar, and all had vanished under strikingly comparable circumstances. Profilers suggested that the suspect was a white male, likely in his 30s or 40s, who lived or worked near Long Island and had an intimate knowledge of the area's secluded terrain. the presence of burlap in the case became a key focus. A material often associated with agriculture or construction, its use hinted at a killer who had professional or personal access to it. More importantly, it spoke to a methodical and deliberate approach. What stands out to me is the level of planning. This was no haphazard disposal. The killer planned everything. As the investigation deepened, more unsettling discoveries surfaced along Ocean Parkway. Among them was Jane Doe number 6, later identified as Valerie Mack in 2020 through advancements in DNA technology. The breakthrough served as a stark reminder. Evidence collected years ago could still hold the key to unmasking a predator who had eluded justice for far too long. Technology offered both breakthroughs and obstacles for investigators. In 2009, the killer made a series of taunting phone calls to Melissa Barthelemy's family, chillingly asking, "Do you think you'll ever see her again?" The calls, traced to locations in Manhattan, suggested a perpetrator who was equally comfortable navigating both urban and remote areas. However, the use of burner phones, an indication of careful planning, left little traceable evidence. Authorities also examined the victims' digital footprints, searching for patterns that could reveal how they were targeted. A CNN special report highlighted the risks posed by anonymous online platforms, where individuals could be lured under false pretenses. These digital spaces, largely unregulated at the time, became a focus of the investigation, exposing a broader issue: how technology could be manipulated by those looking to evade capture. Despite advancements in forensic science, including the use of familial DNA searches, the investigation remained mired in uncertainty. The discovery of a toddler's remains near those of her presumed mother, Jane Doe number 3, raised unsettling questions. Were these cases linked to the same killer, or was something even more complex at play? Similarly, the presence of an unidentified Asian male victim suggested a potential divergence in the killer's usual modus operandi. What strikes me about this case is the sheer unpredictability. Serial offenders often display patterns, but here we see deviations, multiple victim profiles, different disposal sites. That suggests either an evolving methodology or multiple perpetrators operating in the same area. By 2020, public interest surged once again with the release of documentaries like AE's The Killing Season, which highlighted both the breakthroughs and the frustrating dead ends of the case. Civilian tip-offs flooded in, as individuals came forward with recollections of strange sightings, recurring behaviors, or uneasy encounters that might hold a clue. Every lead was examined, yet few resulted in actionable evidence. In my experience, time is both a friend and an enemy in cases like this. It allows forensic science to advance, new witnesses to come forward, but it also erodes memories, scatters physical evidence, and emboldens offenders who believe they've outlasted the law. The Gilgo Beach investigation became a test of endurance for law enforcement, entangled in a web of limited physical evidence and conflicting details. The killer's deliberate tactics, avoiding DNA traces, using burner phones, and exploiting blind spots in society, reflected a chilling level of foresight, frustrating even the most seasoned investigators. For the families of the victims, the search for justice continued. As Valerie Mack's identification proved, time and technology could still unlock long-buried truths. "We're not giving up," declared Suffolk County DA Timothy Sinai in a press conference, reaffirming law enforcement's commitment to solving the case. The turning point in the Gilgo Beach case wasn't a dramatic chase or sudden confession, it was the relentless pursuit of forensic truth. Years of advancements, public pressure, and fresh leadership in law enforcement finally began to crack the case. In January 2020, investigators revealed a key piece of evidence: a black leather belt embossed with the initials WH or HM. Former Chief of Detectives Geraldine Hart called it a significant piece of evidence that belonged to the perpetrator. The revelation reignited public interest, sparking speculation about the killer's identity. Around the same time, DNA technology delivered a major breakthrough. Cross-referencing older evidence with modern databases led to the identification of Valerie Mack, previously known as Jane Doe number 6, a woman who had vanished in 2000. Her tragic story underscored the power of forensic science, proving that even decades-old mysteries could still be solved. With every new clue, investigators edged closer to the truth. When Suffolk County Police Chief Rodney Harrison took over in 2021, he vowed to break the long-standing deadlock in the Gilgo Beach case. Determined to rebuild public trust, he launched a dedicated website, urging civilians to submit anonymous tips. His team, working alongside federal agencies, re-examined old evidence with fresh eyes, a move praised by forensic experts and victim advocacy groups. One of the most critical breakthroughs came from revisiting the killer's digital footprint. Initially, burner phone data from the taunting calls to Melissa Barthelemy's family had led nowhere. But with enhanced geolocation software, investigators narrowed the killer's operational radius to a specific section of Long Island. A CBS News report highlighted how this discovery reinforced their theory. This wasn't an outsider. The killer was deeply familiar with the area. At the same time, a disturbing psychological profile of the Long Island serial killer began to take shape. Criminal profilers, including former FBI agent Mary Ellen O'Toole, pointed to a methodical, highly organized offender who thrived on control. His use of burlap, his ability to dispose of victims carefully, and his skill in evading detection suggested a person comfortable navigating high-risk situations without leaving a trace. A report in the Journal of Forensic Sciences painted an even more unsettling picture. The killer likely maintained a facade of normalcy, possibly holding a stable job or even leading a family life. This dual existence allowed him to blend into the community undetected for years, hiding in plain sight. July 2023. After years of dead ends and unanswered questions, the case that haunted Long Island took a shocking turn. The arrest of Rex Heuermann, a Manhattan architect living just miles from Gilgo Beach, sent shockwaves through the nation. A man who had built a life in plain sight, now unmasked as a prime suspect in one of the most chilling cases in modern history. The evidence was damning. Burner phone records, DNA traces on burlap materials, witness testimony. Each piece, once a fragment of a larger mystery, now pointed to Heuermann with laser-sharp precision. As the news exploded across CNN, The Washington Post, and every major outlet, the public grappled with an unsettling reality. This was not some shadowy figure lurking in the dark. Heuermann was a professional, a man of means and intelligence, someone no one had suspected. Suffolk County DA Ray Tierney revealed the chilling truth. Meticulous planning and a spotless criminal record had allowed Heuermann to evade detection for years. The mask had finally slipped, but only after relentless pursuit by investigators determined to end his reign of terror. "This is the day we've been waiting for," declared John Ray, attorney for some of the victims' families, during an emotional press conference. "While this doesn't erase the pain, it brings us closer to justice." The hunt had spanned over a decade, but now, for the families who had endured endless nights of grief and unanswered questions, the truth had a name. Even with Heuermann in custody, unanswered questions remained. Could there be more victims linked to him? Did he act alone, or was there a network of accomplices? The cases of the unidentified Asian male and the toddler found with Jane Doe number 3 continue to haunt investigators, suggesting the full scope of the Gilgo Beach case may never be known. For the families of the remaining victims, the fight for answers persists. The arrest was a turning point, but not the end of the story. The Suffolk County Police Department, alongside federal agencies, vowed to leave no stone unturned, leveraging every tool at their disposal to bring closure to those still waiting for justice. The arrest of Rex Heuermann marked a long-awaited breakthrough in the Gilgo Beach case, offering answers to an investigation that haunted investigators and families for over a decade. But even now, countless questions remain. Who were the other unidentified victims? Could there still be other perpetrators at large? This case stands as a chilling reminder of the darkness that once plagued Long Island's shores, and a testament to the unwavering resilience of the victims' families and the relentless pursuit of justice by law enforcement. What are your thoughts on this case? Do you believe all the mysteries have been unraveled? Or is there more lurking beneath the surface? Share your insights in the comments below. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support allows us to keep shining a light on the cases that still haunt us today. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and keep questioning everything. I'm Derrick, and I'll be back soon with another investigation.